Whatever was going on, I resigned it all to a sense of internal unity, learnt to keep it under the radar of every day. Like living with a half-finished book, a shoelace undone, I'd join the ranks of those who live in the gaps, whose questions go unanswered. But the question was still there, following me around. I called up the internet for more information about Ken. There were pages and pages of biographies and interviews, stories and movie reviews and gossip. I systematically rented out the long list of movies he'd acted in and watched them in chronological order. I imagined that sooner or later he'd have to reveal himself to me. That he might be interested in me was possible, but for him to personally acknowledge it was only reasonable. I was wary of tricks. But to simply ignore what was happening was to live in denial. For weeks and weeks I was so enormously preoccupied, as if discovering my reflection all over again, amazed and enamoured. Then later, when I unwrapped the moment again, it was gone, flimsy as scribble on the sand. Days turned into weeks. On examination of my life, it appeared I was no longer living, but holding breath, with the expectation of meeting a man I really didn't know. It must be a test, some sort of strange test. That night in my lecture I listened to how the media reconstructed boundaries between public and private life, my own skin stretching to accommodate a world leaking in. Like a land of permeable borders, being colonised by Ken. If he was only a projection of my own making, then it was the feeling of being known and loved that was drawing me. I knew this, I could reason it out, but I couldn't shake just how it made me feel, like riding first class on the love train. I was walking to work through the car park. As I weaved between the parked cars to the office, a man in a dark suit was coming towards me between the cars. I walked around the other side of a parked van to avoid him. When I reached the glass front doors, I looked back. The man looked like Ken. He had both his hands raised, as if shrugging his shoulders, and he looked across at the van with dark windows parked in the street opposite. It dawned on me what I should do, but by the time I'd turned back to the car park, it was deserted. I'm sorry, I thought. Winter was throwing a cloak over the city, and autumn was turning to leave. It was 9 p.m. on a Tuesday night, and I'd been washing underwear in the sink for the last few days. I filled a garbage bag with dirty clothes and drove to the laundry. The fluorescent lit rows of washing machines faced off against dryers. I heaved clothes into the washer and pushed in the coins. Dull laughs from the TV audience rose above the sounds of churning machines and dropped again. For a moment it seemed they were laughing at me. I'm getting worse, I thought. But the rhythmic sound of machines was a comfort. The crescendo of fury and the swift halt pulled me back into action. Robotically, I moved the load to the trolley and the trolley to the dryer, then pushed in more coins. I sat mesmerised by the rolling load, as if feeling the slow turn of the earth. After a while, I pulled a chair over to the television suspended from the wall and climbed up to flick the channels. A shot of the outback with jumping kangaroos came on the screen, combined with the sound of a didgeridoo. The presenter was interviewing a weathered-looking Aborigine. He spoke about how he was taken from his family in the boab tree where they lived. "It's sad," he said finally, and tilted his hat to hide from the camera.